So this is Just in Time Dialogues for Youth. Give me a second there. Okay. So like I said, we'll get started so that way we can get moving through all of our things tonight. So what is it? Out of the way. So this is a program, the Equity Guided Dialogues, that have been made available to youth development educators. It's a series of lessons designed to bring youth together to deliberate, reflect, and take action on social justice issues. So each guide focuses on issues that investigate systematic and structural injustices using multiple perspectives that lead to awareness, reflection, and self-awareness through kind of guided discussions. And why would something like this be needed? As we continue to prepare youth for a more diverse and global economy, we need to ensure we provide them with the cultural skills and knowledge that are currently needed. So both youth and adults must challenge themselves to learn and grow through conversations to be better prepared for a more culturally, racially, and ethnically diverse world. So just to kind of take you through one of the first lessons, just to get an idea of what something that we would want the youth, and probably I did this with my junior leaders, a little bit of our older kids. If you have a lot of younger, it might not be the best fit for maybe your club. But what lesson is kind of discusses as a society, bias is a condition that causes harm to its member, even if unintentional. So this discussion will explore bias as a term and its impacts on consumers as a collective and as individuals. So our first little duel here is Coke versus Pepsi. So I'm going to have you guys kind of hover over the bottom of your screen, and you'll see you should have the reactions. So why don't we do thumbs up if you're a Coke person, and the celebratory yay confetti for Pepsi. Let's see what you guys think. Coke versus Pepsi. And someone may have to let me know what it's looking like in the rest of the room who might have it. Oh, there we go. There's a Pepsi person. I'm seeing a lot of Coke people though on there.
I saw quite a few Pepsis before they started disappearing.
Okay, good. So we got an even one. It was pretty cool. I'm in Vigo County. When I did this with my junior leaders, some of them mentioned because of the Coke bottle factor that maybe Coke has a little bit of a historical value, especially in our area. So kind of a fun conversation to start off with. But have you ever thought about, again, why you like Coke over Pepsi? What is it for you that shapes that experience? Is it an experience? Is it what your favorite restaurant to go out with family had? So just kind of thinking about that, and other things, products to think of, why some name brands over non-name brands, why those might be selected. And marketing. Oh man, marketing may be what determines what you think you like. So marketing has a big piece of the puzzle, and a lot of this is when it comes to obviously consumer-driven selections. So the next one really dives into it, and again, I did this with junior leaders, and the next day this really hit the news again. It was kind of crazy timing. So in this, you see a very I'm sure most of our adult leaders know what this is. Junior leaders still a lot. They don't do the shopping quite yet. They, you know, you might not see everything in the store, but pretty common, the syrup and pancake batters. But like I said, just again, this has hit the news. Originally, they announced a name change back in June 17th of 2020. And then February 9th is when they did launch their new products. So a few questions, and just in this format for the group to kind of think through. So some thinking reflection questions. First one again is, what do you see? Do you notice anything particular about the package or the product? Is anything standing out to you? And what do you know about the product, the contents, the company, and the label? So usually I wouldn't go into all that, but like I said, it was pretty recently back in the news. So what do you know about the product, the content, the company, and the label? So again, just working with the youth to talk through some guiding questions in their group. And usually you have a little bit more time and, maybe a natural fit for more of an in-person session potentially. And the last question, how long has this product been on the market? And does that matter? So then those were our objective questions. And then we jump into reflective questions to get them to think and internalize. So more kind of out of the box. Very similar wording though, starting off with, what do you think when you see this, this bottle? I know, just my personal experience, my family has, the tradition of Sunday breakfast was either pancakes, waffles, or French toast. So it always revolved around pulling out the syrup bottle. That was my job in the morning to start with, especially starting off at the young age, is pull those out. So what do you think about? And let me switch over here. I'm gonna pull a link for you. So again, we probably won't have, definitely won't have time to fully jump in, but I am going in the chat here to post an article, and this is the one through the curriculum guide they have linked to. And like I said, right now you'll find even more with the new branding, but the next part of the guide does ask to go over. To kind of read over that, disseminate some of the content in there. So continuing on, like I said, lots of questions just to get your youth talking. There we go. So continuing that, what do you think when you see the syrup bottle now after you've read the full article? Have your views on the syrup changed? Why or why not? I guess I can go back a little bit and preface that. So this article is the real history of Aunt Jemima, the brand's first model, Nancy Green. So it gives some details in the article about why this all came up. Started coming up again June 17th. Talks about different models for the company and how that's changed and what the original kind of model stems from. And okay, so our next question, Why would the packaging of the syrup be something a manufacturer wants to change in response to racial concerns? A lot of deep, kind of rooted questions, but really just being open and to any type of dialogue that we can share between the group to uh, hear multiple viewpoints. And finally, with that section, how do you think other cultural groups feel when they see a bottle of syrup and know what the origins are? And then we move on to interpretive questions. So relating to the bigger picture, and like kind of mentioned from the beginning, this is a lesson on bias. So what is implicit bias? Probably a lot of the students in high school may be starting to hear this word more and more. So what is it? What is it really about? Are you familiar with the term? So implicit bias refers to the attitudes or stereotypes that affect our understanding, actions, and decisions in an unconscious manner. So can you think of other examples of things that may cause implicit bias? And even just on the naming and branding, I know, it was just in the news, maybe starting today or yesterday, about Jeep being asked to rename their Cherokee line. So just to think about any kind of examples the group can think of. Continuing on with those questions, and again, we're relating to the larger picture. Do you have any similar experiences with implicit bias? Did anything seem new or surprising? And I know when I worked with them and read the article, I had never thought to look into that company really much at all before. So a lot of us learned something in our session. Do you think you have an implicit bias towards something? And how do you feel once you recognize it? So they're scoping out some questions there. And finally, with that section, do you think there are implicit biases towards people in our community? If so, who are they and how are they affecting? So again, a lot of questions, and then there's even more questions, if you can imagine that. So these last few are decisional questions. Now what, so what? What are maybe the next steps on really, you could do this as a club, but really on an internal basis too. What else do you need to know about the subject? What do you think you as an individual should do with this information? And what are the steps for this group to help our community? So that kind of covers, if you want to work together, what do you want to discuss internally? So to get, just with all those questions and going around the room, it would just take forever. And again, you'd have full time to read over the article, learn about the history of Nancy Grain, the original first model, and discuss that with your group. And then I really like this closing question, which is a fill in the blank. This has been a blank conversation. So again, knowing full well that not everyone, we haven't had the full time to do breakout rooms and discuss, but have a little activity. So this is something too a lot of presenters have done to engage in a virtual way to get feedback. Plus, this is anonymous, so your name won't be associated with it, but Mentimeter has multiple outputs, and I've selected a word cloud. So it's something that I have access to and can share. So I'm going to pull that up And again, disclaimer, this is my first time doing Mentimeter myself, so you should be able to pull up the link, the shorter link that I just put in the chat there, and be able to answer that question. This has been a blank conversation, and you can, it's nice, you can be honest, and like I said, I just know you wouldn't have the full conversation, and I just reserve the right to, if it's appropriate, we'll share it. If not, we'll move on to our next activity. So we'll give you guys a couple minutes there. In the meantime, while maybe you're doing that, if there's any questions, but the rest of the dialogues just kind of, again, a lot of questions, scoping out an issue that the youth may be seeing and not forming, you never see a debate in there, but just broadening experiences and exposing to that. So I see a couple in there. Keep, go ahead and, or even whatever you feel comfortable sharing. We'll get our word cloud going a little bit more, and then I can present it. In the meantime, if anyone feels comfortable typing in or chatting about any other maybe examples that would be related, they think to implicit bias, that would be great. I guess I'll finish with, okay, are you guys still seeing, you're back on my share screen? Or did I probably closed it out. One more time. You got it. There we go. Okay, so just learn more about this program. Like I said, I believe, I don't have them all printed out. I believe it's about 6 sessions. If it's something you do have an older group, your junior leaders, you can contact your youth development educator for that programming. It's one, that the programming kind of lays out working with your educator, or if you would want to reach out to me, there's my contact information. Again, I'm in the Vigo County office with that. Okay, let's go back. I'll give you lots of time for your spring break activity, but let's finish with sharing this. So I got a couple. The nice thing about with everyone being virtual, I can just share that link. Otherwise, you can post Menti if they have access to do it on their phone. Just www.menti.com, and then you give them, you have like a 5-digit code or so. So where's that? There's. Okay, so we only got a few, but as we get more and more, and it can be whatever you want. So we have interesting, educational, eye-opening, enlightening, thought-provoking, and important. And hopefully you would have maybe some more feedback, again, if you had time to read the article and hear other perspectives, so you form a broad kind of understanding of what all the group is going on. So before I turn it over, oh man, look at that. These go by fast. Any questions you can type in or unmute if you want, or if you want to type them in, you can send them directly to me if you want, and I'll answer those as well. So if I turn it over to Cheryl.
Thanks, Sarah. That was great. I'm sure you had good discussion with your junior leaders. I can't wait to hear more about that later. Well, this is a time when we would like to give a brain break. So if everyone would kind of sit up really straight in your chair and get comfortable, and we are going to do some breathing exercises. And this is something that's coming from Go Noodle, is where I am bringing in a very short video. And if I could share my screen, and Sarah, if you could give me a thumbs up if you can hear and all of that.
Funny breath.
Okay.
Did you know you breathe about 15 to 25 times per minute? That's 21,000 to 36,000 breaths a day. Oh, that's a lot of breaths. And now we're going to triple it by doing some bunny breaths. Ooh. To get your bunny breath on, take 3 quick sniffs in, like you're sniffing around for carrots, okay, and 1 long exhale out. Try it. Now, get comfortable, close your eyes, or keep them open, whatever feels right, and let's bunny breathe. Ready? 3 quick sniffs in and breathe out. 3 sniffs in and out. Sniff in and out. 3 sniffs in and out. Sniff in, breathe out. In and breathe out. Sniff in, breathe out. 3 in, breathe out. 3 in and out. 3 sniffs in and out. Sniff in and out. Nice bunny breathing. Oh, thank you. You know, bunny breaths are great for when you get so upset that you can't catch your breath. Oh, I lost my poor meatballs. No worries, Fabio. Just bunny breathe. That's much better.